What's up, everybody? It's Ramblin Ralph, official ring announcer, Mayweather Promotions, and you are watching Box Talk with Luis Madrid. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Box Talk with Luis Madrid. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We have a special announcer edition today. Usually this is the man behind the mic, behind the camera, but we're going to go ahead and flip the script on him a little bit and get to know him a little bit more. We have none other than the one and only Ramblin Ralph, official announcer from the money team, Mayweather Promotions. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
We want to come out here for a minute, so glad I'm here.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Well, let's go ahead and get started from the beginning. I know you're from Phoenix, Arizona. I know you grew up in the South Side. Can you tell me a little bit about the struggles in your upbringing, family?
Yeah, I grew up in South Phoenix, Central and Southern, and that place has always been a to the media, to everybody around the whole city, like. You're a statistic there growing up. You're never going to amount to nothing. That's what everybody else around the city had always talked about, that area. And for me, luckily, I had my father started coaching me youth sports when I was young. And I just kept playing, and I ended up liking baseball, and it kind of saved me from being out on the streets. So, it was tough. I mean, people were getting shot, like literally right 2 blocks away from my house. Every time they would go out and cruise on the weekends, and the gangs were really tough in that neighborhood. I had gangs in me, like on one side of my neighborhood, on the street, and the other they were rivals, and so it was tough. It was tough growing up there, but like I said, I was lucky enough to have 2 parents that had me grounded and had me to just stick to the path. Even when I was young, my father always was on me about getting good grades and making sure that I was doing the right thing. So I'll never leave that area. Like, the area still, to me, is still home, even though I get to go do all these cool things. Matter of fact, I'm actually looking for a house down there right now to move back into. I grew up, again, like Central and Southern for the first 29, 30 years of my life, and then I moved out to the West Phoenix, but I still go back there every once in a while to see what's going on with my family. So. Okay,
perfect. And speaking a little bit about, the troubled kids and whatnot, I know you've always been the type to give back a lot. You're always, whether it's giving tickets or taking struggling families to shows or donations or even stuff that you don't announce, you're always looking to give back. Why is that something that's so important to you?
You know what? Because I actually, when I was young, I had this other player on my team, and my father would always go pick him up, And I'd be like, Dad, why are we always coming to pick this guy up? Like, I don't understand why he has to hang around us all the time. And I didn't really know what was going on. Coming to find out that, he didn't have his parents. He was being raised by his brother, and he had no family. Nobody would come to the games. And, you're too young to realize that. So when I got done playing, I said, okay, regardless of what I'm doing, I lucked out, and I want to give back to these kids. So I started coaching down there in that area. And I just always feel like I'm blessed, and I was able to make it out of the struggle. So for me, I want to give back. I thought, to be perfectly honest with you, I thought, okay, my dream was to get big and have all these cars and do this and be walking down red carpets. But then when you start doing these things, you start realizing that when you look out to the crowd, like at the Iron Boy shirts, when I'm throwing out shirts, if you notice, I always find children, because they're always the ones, that are like, they love the most. When you hug a kid, they hug, like with all the 100%, it's not fake. So these kids, I always said, okay, once I make it out, and if I make it out, I'm going to come give back to this community. And it's not just South Phoenix though, man, it's everywhere. Like, we do stuff on the West Side, North Side, other cities, like, we do the Thanksgiving drive in Vegas for those families over there, whatever I can do to give back. I mean, if I were to stop announcing today, I've already fulfilled my dream, and to me, it's all about giving back and telling kids in communities, hey, Maryville, South Phoenix, West Valley, you can make it, dude. Just because you grew up on Central and Southern or 43rd Avenue, Camelback, or wherever you think you're not going to make it out of, you can. So that's the main purpose of it. Always giving back.
For sure, man. And so to get into your beginnings with announcing, I know you've mentioned, and you even have pictures where you're like a little kid with the mic. That's kind of It's kind of I guess, a random thing. You don't necessarily see a lot of kids say, "I want to be an announcer when I grow up." Was there somebody that inspired you, or where does that come
Yeah,
from?
dude, it was so weird, man. So as a kid, I got turned on to wrestling from my cousin, right? So I go over to his house, and he has these little wrestling monitos, and he's playing with them. I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. And then he goes, but let's not put that wrestling gonna come on, and we turn the wrestling on. And I promise you, it was that day, this guy named Howard Finkel, he was an announcer, they call him the Fink from wrestling. Little dude, like 5'1", 5'2", 5'3", but his voice was like amazing. And the crowd went crazy, and I'm like, man, that's cool, man. I wonder, even as a kid, I was like, dude, that's a rush. Like, how cool is that this guy is making the crowd go crazy? So it just became a part of, like, I got into the wrestling environment when they would announce my favorite wrestler, Hulk Hogan, like, he was always a guy announcing. So, like, it was part of, like, getting hyped up, like a Buffer or Lennon will do for your favorite fighter. Like, it gets you hyped up. So I'm like, man, I want to do that. So I started playing Little League baseball at 5. At 7, we got to play on the bigger field, and I got closer to the main field, and I heard the announcer that was announcing the main game. And at 7, I'm like, that guy's all right, man, but he's not no Howard Finkel. Like, and I had already copied and mimicked Howard Finkel and tried to, like, at home, I'd walk around with my wrestling dolls, and I said, I can do that. So after my game, I asked my dad, I said, can I go and see if they'll let me announce a name? And my dad had already been, like, a million times, Mijo, be quiet, because I would take the pots and pans and ring the bell and have my wrestling and announce it, and the whole house became a wrestling arena, man. So my dad already knew that it was in my blood and in my heart to want to do that. So I walk up to the Little League field, and I tell the guy, I tap on his shoulder, I said, sir, do you mind if I announce a player? And he looks at me, I'm just a little mocoso that just got done playing all dirty. He's like, nah, get out of here. I said, just one. I go, that's my cousin right there playing, let me announce him. And I did it like Howard Finkel, man. I tried to copy him, and the guy looks at me all weird. He says, how do you? I said, I want to be an announcer when I grow up. I wanted to be a ring announcer or a Nintendo counselor, because I was a Nintendo freak. So I wanted to help people learn how to play games. That was my 2 goals at 7. So lo and behold, it came where he let me do that, and then I started doing more games with him. I started sharing the games with him, and by 9 or 10, I was actually doing all the Little League games, and I did that from when I was 10 all the way up to like 24, 25. So even when I didn't live down in that area anymore, I would still drive back. I would coach there too, so I would coach, and then I would announce the second game. So yeah, man, that's how it started, dude. And that's where I practice a lot. I practiced there for 14 years, for every summer for 14 years. Yeah. So.
That's awesome, man. How do you get your nickname, the Ramblin Ralph?
It was funny you say that. I had a friend, David Mesa, who I grew up with, and he was one of my friends that I had played with in Little League. So he lived 2 blocks from me off of Roger, which is like not even half a mile. One day he shows up and I'm coaching, and he's like, man, you're loud. You're a loud coach. I go, I know. I grew up by. That's the way my dad was. So I'm trying to get these kids to listen to me. He says, dude, you're like the Jimmy Mount of the South Heart of baseball and coaching, and he says, you need to be called Ramblin Ralph, dude. And I was like, dog, that's stupid. Like, no one's that's dumb. Don't ever say that again. And I went home, and I was sitting there. I remember I had ordered a Gino's pizza, because I hadn't eaten Gino's on the South Side for a long time. So we ordered Gino's pizza. I drove it back to my house, and I'm sitting there eating, watching the game. And I'm like, Ramblin Ralph, dude, Ramblin Ralph. That's dumb. And I tried to tell myself, that's dumb. That don't even make sense. That doesn't, people that ramble, like, it's kind of like a negative connotation, like, that guy rambles too much. It's almost like I'm doing now. But like, I just said, you know what, man? I go, so then I drew a logo with 2 R's, I called my cousin who makes t-shirts. I'm like, can you see if you can come up with something and see how it looks? And he made me my first logo. And I was like, you know what? That don't look too bad, man. So I said, okay, we're gonna roll with it. And I tried it, and I just started using it. And now, dude, people don't even call me by my regular name. It's hey, Ramblin, or what's up, Ramblin? Like, it just stuck. But he passed away, and when he was sick, he had stomach cancer. And I told him, I said, look, when you are no longer here, I said, I promise you, I will never get rid of that. Because people are like, dude, you should get rid of it. Just go by your regular name. But there's a reason why I will always use that is because he gave me that name. He's no longer here. He was one of my best friends. So honestly, I'll never change it. And people who are like marketing people like, oh, you got to get rid of it. Just go by your regular name now because now you're doing bigger stuff. But honestly, I'm never going to change because of that reason. And rest in peace to David. His name was David Mesa. And he's the one who gave me that name. So I just kept it, and we're going to stay with it.
There you go, man. Well, rest in peace to your friend, man. I've seen, I don't know if you do it on purpose, but there's times where I do see you when you're talking, it almost looks like your mouth is going faster than when you're actually talking. I think I seen Brandon Rios copying you one time.
Yeah, Brandon Rios copied me a lot. That guy's a jokester. We did a show in Kansas, and I was, when you interview these fighters, it's tough because you don't know how long you have with them. So you try to get like as many questions as you can, but that guy, you have to kind of slow it down because he's a jokester. And of course, he started a promotion, and we were announcing for his promotion in Kansas, and that guy always, no matter how many times I interviewed him, he always made a joke out of it. And that's what I loved about him, is that he never took it serious. He took it serious in the ring, but outside, he never ever discredited you or never made you feel silly just because of who he was. He was a good guy. He was a good interviewer. So yeah, he made fun of me all the time. Shouts out to Brandon Rios. I'll get you back one day.
For sure, man. And so, I guess now to how your professional career got started. I guess you've shared this story a couple times that you kind of lied your way into your first.
Yeah, it was and again, the story is kind of unique in a sense that. So go back to me being 24, 25, announcing, starting life. I already had 2 children at this time, so I'm like, okay, I've been doing real estate since I was 18 years old. I still do it to this day. So I just said, okay, I'm going to focus on my real estate. And I said, one day I know that God is going to put me in a situation to where I'm just going to wake up and it's going to be right there, and I have to take advantage of it. So one day I'm reading the sports page, and our friend Jesus Martillo out of Car 8 in high school, he had already got signed with Top Rank. He had already fought. He had separated from Top Rank, but somebody had signed him from Canada, and it was in the paper that he was going to have a fight. Dude, honestly, I opened the sports page, and it was right in front of my face. I said, you know what? I was 32 years old at this time, dude. So when I tell people, like, if you're in your mid-20s and you think your dream is over, dude, it's not, because mine came true at 32 years old. So I'm sitting there at the sports page, I'm watching it, I'm like, dude, I'm doing this fight. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care if I do it for free. I'm doing this fight. I will go down there and I will freaking barricade myself in that ring. I'm doing this fight. So I called the promoter, Fanbase Promotions, Darren Schmidt in Canada. And he's like, yeah, we're doing a fight at the Celebrity Theater. It's going to be a club card. I said, okay, perfect. I announced all the fights in Arizona. And in my mind, dude, there wasn't really no fights in Arizona. So how are you going to go back and check that, right? So I'm like, yeah, I do everything here in Arizona. I do all the Muhammad Ali stuff, the fight nights. Yeah, I do all that stuff. At that time, there wasn't like Facebook or you go back and just check on people or whatever. So he said, okay, I'm going to give you a shot. Send me a demo. And I and my little brother, we were trying to be like this little rap group too. So I had like this music software that I could just edit stuff. So I put like crowd noise behind it and bell, and I made my demo and I sent it to him, right? So I said, hey, this is one of mine, when I announced it last year or whatever. So I sent it to him, and he listened to it. He says, okay, I'm going to use you. He says it's going to be in 5 weeks. I said, at the Celebrity Theater. Perfect. He calls me back 2 weeks later and says, Ralph, he's like, I got some bad news and good news for you. Which one do you want? And I always take bad news first because I always want to end stuff on good notes. I said, give me the bad news. He says, there's no more Celebrity Theater card, no more club card. And I was like, shit, dude. I go, there goes my chance. There goes my dream. Everything, it's all went to shit. Like, forget it, dude. I give up. I'm just going to do real estate, whatever. He says, but the good news is we're doing the ESPN Friday Night Fights during All-Star Weekend. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, that's cool for you. Like, it ain't cool for me because I've never, like, I know he wasn't going to pick me. I said, I'm probably going to get Jimmy Lennon or Diamante or Triber. I said, I appreciate you thinking about me, though, maybe the next time. He says, no, you don't understand. He says, I promise you, you're going to do it, so you're going to do the ESPN card. And at that time, I was like, oh, that's cool, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I won't let you down, whatever. dude, I hung up the phone and I'm like, shit, dude, I just basically told this guy, I do all these cards in Arizona. I've never done nothing in Arizona but done Little League games in South Phoenix, dude. Like, what am I gonna do, right? So what I did, man, I was freaking out, but then I was like, you know what? No, dude, like, you've been announcing your wrestling monito since you were 7. Like, you watch every Buffer, every Linden. Chuck Hall was another guy that, when I was growing up, I'm older than you are, so Chuck Hall was like during the Tyson, like Spinks, Tyson, Pinkland Thomas. If you go back and look at the Witherspoon fight, all those, like he was the main announcer before Buffer came on. So I went back, I just watched all these tapes, man, and studied, like, okay, how many seconds did he take the pause? How many seconds to do? Like you, I got to give you a lot of credit, man. Your interviews, you went out and studied, and you learned, and you're learning, and you're doing such a good job with this, man. And that's what I did. That's what you got to do. You got to take the time. You got to make sure that you put the effort in. So I must have watched like 100 tapes on announcing. I said, you know what? I think I got it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to copy these guys. I'm going to make my own. But I'm going to take the time, the pauses, the inflection on the voice. Like, I got it. So I go there, dude, and we show up, and I walk in, and there's fucking people everywhere because Darren, the promoter, wanted a lot of people to go and not have to pay a lot of money. So tickets were like $25 lower level, $40. So, dude, the place was packed, right? So I walk out, and the producer's like, okay, Ralph, go put your fob on. And a fob is they wire you. Well, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I turn around, I'm like, fob, dude, what's a fob? Dude, I'm like, I'm just gonna pretend that I did it, and I'm just gonna start getting ready. So I sat down, we're 20 minutes before the show starts, and the producer's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, what? He goes, your fob. I go, okay. He's like, dude, your earpiece. I'm like, oh, my earpiece. Yeah. So, dude, literally 5 minutes before we're supposed to start, they're sitting there tucking the thing in, and it's a process because you got to put the mic like underneath your clothes, and you got to have the wire like come out of the back, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. You get scratched back here. Nonetheless, dude, I did it, and then they're like, okay, can you hear? I go, yeah, I can hear. And then the director says, okay, man, just want to let you know, we're doing ESPN 3D, and we're going all the way down to South America, so we're gonna have another, 100 million people watching the show. Break a leg.
No pressure, fam.
Bro, no pressure, dog. 2 minutes for the show. Now instead of just a country, we got half of the world watching. So I'm like, dude, you know what? And at that time, man, seriously, I just closed my eyes and said, you know what, Lord? Like, you got me here. Like, you put me here. If I mess up royally, like to where really bad, then I will never get in this ring again. If you get me through it, and if I just do whatever and just, guide me through it, then I'm going to make an effort. And you know what? We did good, man. We got through it. I made one mistake. I called Martillo the future champion instead of current champion. So Teddy Atlas hammered me on the broadcast. Dan Rayfield wrote a tweet talking shit about me, man. And I, to this day, I haven't had the nerve to say, hey, man, here's the real reason behind it, because he probably forgot already. But it stays with you, and so I said, you know what? I think we're okay. I think we're going to be good. So Roberto Vargas from Iron Boy Promotions, I met with him at Starbucks, and it was only supposed to be like a 10, 15-minute interview. And at this time, I'm like, dude, I'm ESPN, like, and this is where I made the mistake. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I'm glad that we there was a fork in the road, and I took the different route, because I walk into this meeting and I'm like, dude, I just did ESPN, man. Like, what do you got to say to me? You're going to do local shows? Like, I don't even want to hear. Like, I'm trying to go all the way up and not, stay and go backwards. But I spoke to him, man. 3 hours we stayed there at Starbucks. And I started working for Iron Boy the very next week or 2 weeks later, because he has a vision, dude. He's done over 60 shows in Arizona. No one has ever come close to what he's done. A lot of people don't give him enough credit. He and I have had our arguments back and forth, because it's the nature of the beast in the business. But you cannot take away what he has done. He's done so many shows, man. He is amazing. And like, for what he's done for Arizona, no one's ever even come close. So I started working for them. One day after a weigh-in, he's like, hey, can you do me a favor and go pick up some people at the airport? I said, I got a date, dude. I go, why are you having me? Don't you have Gophers? You have all these people around you when it's party time and when the fight starts, and now nobody wants to help you. I was giving him shit, because I had a date, dude. It was like I've been trying to get this date for like 6 months. And then he says, no, please, dude. He goes, it's people from the Mayweather, because Panchito and Vaca and Beaver were training with Roger Mayweather and all those guys at the time. So he's like, it's part of Beaver's camp. And I thought it was going to be, just a trainer or whatever. I said, you know what, man, you owe me. I said, because I had a really good day I've been trying to get for 6 months, and now it's ruined. So I go, cancel my day, I pull up to the airport, and there's Roger Mayweather sitting there with Bob Ware, the guy that is the cut man and wraps hands. And Roger Mayweather had this trunk, man, this Louis Vuitton bag that was like 6 foot high. And I'm like, dude, that's a nice bag. I had a Dodge Charger. I don't know where the hell this is going to fit. This ain't going to fit in my trunk. So we pick him up, and I got this trunk, and I put Roger in the front seat. Bob Ware, we got this big, massive Louis Vuitton $10,000 bag trunk in my back seat, and Bob's holding it. And I'm like, dude, I just got to get these guys to Scottsdale. That's where they were staying. I said, I just got to get them to Scottsdale. I can still probably make my date. Even though Roger Mayweather's here is cool, he looks like, he didn't want to have anything to do with anything that was going on. He turns to me and says, so what's popping in Phoenix? I'm driving. I'm like, what's popping in Phoenix? I'm like, you mean like going out? He says, yeah, you don't think I'm going back to that stinky hotel, do you? And I'm like, okay. I took him to every bar, he wanted to go to Jaguar. I said, no, we ain't going to Jaguar, we're not going there. he wanted to have a good time, man. And never judge a book by its cover. And I've learned since that day to never do that, because I became really good friends with him. So much so that when I announced, I think it was Beaver's fight, the next day, Bob Ware, the cut man's like, dude, our announcer for Mayweather doesn't announce like this. I'm going to make a call. So there was a lot of other people around when he said that. So 2 days later, I get a phone call, and I thought it was one of my homies playing a trick on me. They're like, yeah, this is Kenny Craig of Mayweather Promotions. I'm like, dude, I don't know who this is, but y'all need to stop this bullshit and stop messing with me. And I hung up the phone. True story. So then it calls right back. He's like, look, this is Kenny Craig. If you hang up again, we're not going to call you back no more. We want to bring you out. I went out to look at the show at Sam's Town, which if nobody's been to a show at Sam's Town, dude, those shows are lit. There's it's like the Celebrity Theater, really small, great fights in there, man. It's an awesome place to watch a fight. So I go there, and I just started talking to the people, met everybody, and then the next day the next show, they bring me on, and it's been 4.5 years that I've been with Floyd and those guys. So it was a crazy story how it all panned out. If I wouldn't even gone to pick up Uncle Roger, maybe we're not talking right now about this stuff. So just weird how things just line up.
And you're probably not with that date.
I'm probably not with that date either, because you probably been like, you got a Dodge Charger. I mean, I don't
Man, that's awesome, man. R.I.P. Uncle Raj, man. You don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah, you know what, man? Dude, watching him work out and watching him work with Beaver and doing the mids with those guys, it's something really special. Floyd really credits him now, and now that he's passed away, I think Floyd really understands what he meant, because now Floyd is that guy in the gym. He's there training, working with Gervonta Davis. It's awesome, And the cool thing about now is that Floyd never used to let people into the gym to watch him train or watch him work out with somebody else. Now it's different. Now anybody that wants to come in, he lets them come in. He shows people what's going on in there. So I think it's really changed him a lot. He's changing for the better. And I really think that he realizes that he's a very important asset to boxing. So in that sense, yeah, it's a cool thing.
That's awesome, man. And a very, very smart guy, a very knowledgeable guy. So why not share that knowledge?
He is the smartest businessman. I mean, people rag him and make fun of him all you want, man. Being able to hang out with him and being a friend of his now and being able to see what he does on the outside, business-wise, the people he hangs around with. I mean, he's got Warren Buffett on his team. He has shares in all these big stocks that Warren Buffett does. He really listens and understands that you take $5, you use it, you invest it, you make 8. You take 8, you invest more of that, you make 12 or 15. And now, dude, that guy, people say he's fighting for money, dude, but that guy, every month he gets a check from all his dividends, and he will never go broke. That guy is smart, dude. And when he tells you, yeah, I'll never go broke, I get this amount a month, he's not lying. I've seen him with my own eyes. So, very smart guy.
Awesome. And for those people that might not know, can you tell us a little bit about some of the biggest fight weeks you've
the one that really got me, there was three fights that are my favorite still. They'll probably never be because, and it wasn't really the first one. As much as I want to say the first ESPN fight was great, that wasn't my favorite because it was nerve-wracking and there was a lot of stuff going on that I didn't know, so I didn't really get to enjoy it. My family was in the crowd, but I really didn't get to enjoy it. So the first one was the David Benavidez Ronald Gabriel fight, only because David, I've been here with him in Phoenix for a many amount of years before he turned pro. I mean, the kid weighed almost 270 pounds at one time. And I just saw him like every day in the gym. I mean, the guy's a gym rat. He's worse than his brother, Jose Jr. Like they live in the gym, dude. They just live in the gym. Like when I mean live in the gym, show up at 8, work out till 11 o'clock, take a break, go back at 1:30, stay until 4, eat dinner, go back and stay. I mean, that's what the kid did every single day. So Jimmy Lennon ended up having a show in Europe, and they called me like, hey, do you mind filling in for Jimmy? I go, yeah, what is it? Like whatever card? He's like, no, Benavidez versus Gavril for the title, WBC title. And I'm like, holy shit. I go, yeah, of course I'll do it, And for me, that's special because that was my first title, WBC title fight, and it was David's first. So we got to share, 2 kids from South Phoenix got to share the ring in Vegas for a title, and it was very, very, very cool for me. The second one was the Mayweather-McGregor. That fight, I got to do almost the whole fight week, man. It was really, really cool to be able to see all those people, to be able to do the open workouts, to be around, these world-class fighters and be a part of the presser being in there, the weigh-ins. It was excellent. And the third one was Pacquiao Broner. I'm a big Manny Pacquiao fan. I like Mayweather and Pacquiao both. I like Pacquiao a long time ago, before I even got into the sport. I would go to Vegas and watch him fight for $75. That's how cheapest tickets used to be. Now you can't even sniff a ticket for like $1,000. But we used to go watch him fight, like when he fought Eric Morales at Thomas and Mack. I got in for $50, lower level, best time of my life. So I was a fan of his way before I started working with Mayweather. And finally, when he came over to PBC, all the friends of Mayweather were teasing me. They're like, yeah, now you get to root for Manny now because now Manny's working with PBC. So getting to work that undercard and getting to be a part of that open workout and stuff was very special because, I opened for Jimmy Lennon, and that guy's my hero. That guy's is my mentor. He does so much for me as far as talking to me, sitting down with me, going over things, explaining things, and I told him I don't care if he's 90 years old. Jimmy Lennon, man, I think he's going to be announced until he's 100. That guy's schedule is crazy. Like, I thought my schedule was bad. He showed me his schedule, every 12, 13 weeks. He's announcing almost every week, before COVID. But it's those are the ones that just for me are special. And we may have ones down the road, as I get older, that are going to make a difference. But it's very finicky, the business. It's very, very tough, very political sometimes, and I try not to let that get into the way. I just show up. Like I said, I try to say I'm the people's announcer because, like I said, I've been through all facets, interviewing, podcasting, the announcing at the Little League field. I used to do Lego competitions too, man. I would do these little Lego, like these little guys would make Legos and they would like try to like move an arm, and I'd be like, oh, there's the arm moving from Wilson Elementary School. Give it up, just to practice, man. Just because I loved it. So I don't think I'll never stop until I'm not able to do it anymore, and hopefully we'll have more. We can come back again 5 years from now, and maybe I'll have some more cards for you, man. But those are my favorite 3.
Awesome. And do you ever catch yourself mid-show and be like, wow, like I'm really living my dream?
Yeah, the Pacquiao one was crazy because that one, and I forgot to mention the real reason why is because I always dreamed to announce in the MGM Grand. Like I went to. What fight was it that I said, you know what, I'm going to announce it here one day? It was the De La Hoya Hopkins. Dude, I was sitting the very last row. I was way up there. And even MGM Grand doesn't really have a big upper deck, but I was at the last row. And I'm like, dude, I'm never going to sit up here again. I'm going to announce in this building one day. And I had gone with this girl, and she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, yeah, I'm going to announce in this building one day. She goes, all right. I remember she was like, all right. But then she didn't think nothing of it after that. But I always, when I would walk into that building, I said, you know what? If I get to announce in this building, and if I die the next day, like I said, I'll be fulfilled. And the Pacquiao Broner, we got to do it. So that Thursday, we had a show before the Saturday show, and I walked to the MGM Grand, and I came to tears, man, because I was like, dude, like, this MGM Grand, this is the mecca of boxing. Like, T-Mobile's nice, but when you walk into MGM Grand, if you're a fight fan, like, the sweat, you could smell, dude, the boxing. Like, you walk into that arena, you're like, dude, it stinks in here. It smells like boxing, man. You know what I mean? It's just got the atmosphere. It's cool. You walk in there, everybody's so close together, you know, as far as like the fans, and it's real, you know, real dense place, and that was it, dude. So yeah, I was like, dude, what am I doing here? You know, I go to Floyd's Girl Collection. I sit down and I have dinner with him. What am I doing here? Like, even when Sharky went to Vegas, I'm like, let's go meet Floyd so you can meet him. He got to take a picture. He's like, dude, I can't believe we're in here. And even those moments, like when I can give back and be like, Sharky, let's go meet Floyd. I want you to meet him. You know, shook his hand, asked him for some advice and stuff. Yeah, dude, it's just, it's amazing. I think I do that for every show though too. Like even the Iron Boy shows. Like if I see my family in the crowd, and I like to announce these shows because my mom, people always ask me, why you open up for Sonny? You're only doing 1 or 2 fights and you let Sonny do the rest. Dude, first of all, Sonny's my friend. It's his show now. He's the one that runs the announcing for Iron Boy. I just come in and give him, you know, start off the show so he doesn't have to work so many fights. But I do it because my mom is there, right? My kids are there. The people that in my contract, I always ask for tickets so that I can give back to the youth. So basically, yeah. So I catch myself every show, and just thankful that I'm doing what I'm doing, and that I'm blessed to do it, because there's a lot of people that would love to be where I'm at, and I just take it every day. I never take it for granted. Every show is a new show, and it's a blessing. So.
For sure, man. Awesome. Thank you for that. So to transition into the next segment, I just have 3 quick fights for you. We kind of ran out of the big fights, unfortunately, but yeah, I got a couple
it's all good.
fights coming up, so let's see what you think.
I'm a fan first, so I'll definitely tell you what's going on.
So the first one is next week, the Canelo versus Caleb Smith.
A lot of people, well, we just had some new news as of this, I think it was this morning or last night, right, as we're filming this. So now he's fighting for the WBC title fight, which doesn't make David Benavidez too happy, because now I guess they said the winner's going to fight Yildirim. Yeah, so yeah, that's gonna, you know, but a lot of people are kind of are not giving Smith a chance. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's going to be one of Canelo's toughest fights, to be honest with you. But Canelo's getting massive, man, and he's getting so good. Like, I watch these videos of him that they put on social media with him hitting the mitts, and the guy's a beast. And look at what's happening to Ryan Garcia. Like, Ryan Garcia now is becoming like the little Canelo with the workouts and his intensity, and like the way his power is developing with the ring. Also, like, dude, it's a crazy camp, man. It's a crazy camp, and I think Canelo's going to beat him. Might be a late stoppage, but Kellen Smith's going to give him a run for his money, more so than he's had the last couple of fights, for sure.
For sure, man. And speaking about Garcia, what do you think about Garcia Campbell?
Well, this is going to be his first test, right? So we're going to see what happens. This is going to be the first real fight that he's going to be in. But, man, the speed, the power, the star power, the marketing capability of this kid, if this kid can get past him. Like, I know he's been having beef with De La Hoya and, you know, the Golden Boy family, and he's expressed it on social media, but the kid is a can't miss, man. And I think that, I think he's going to beat Campbell. I mean, I don't know if he's going to knock him out, but I think he's going to beat him.
Sure. But then the final fight is for whenever it gets rescheduled. If it gets rescheduled, the Berchelt and Valdez.
You know, I like Oscar Valdez, man. We've seen him fight in Arizona many a times. He's a warrior, but man, Berchelt is he's on another stratosphere, dude. That guy is amazing, and I think Berchelt actually handles him pretty easy, to be honest with you. I think Valdez, you know, the wars that he gets into, like the Adam Lopez, and you know, some of these fighters just like they don't know how to turn it down. You know, when they're in there, it's just their nature. Nothing wrong with it. Like when Chico said, I could always tell him, like, man, dude, it's like a Rocky movie every time you fight. He goes, I love it. That's what I like to do. You know, but at the end of the day, it takes rounds, and off of your career. And I think that's what's happened to Valdez. It's going to be a great fight though, because Valdez he's not a pushover dude. He doesn't back off. He's going to go after him. He's a good counterpuncher and so strong. That's going to be a good fight, man. I can't wait for that. They need to reschedule that ASAP. Come on, Aaron.
For sure, man.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, man. Well, to finish off, I do a little fun segment called 12 Rounds of Boxing.
Mhm.
It's just 12 random fun questions that most of them have nothing to do with boxing.
It's all good. I've seen it already. Couldn't wait for this one.
All right, man. So question number 1 is, what is the first thought that enters your head when you wake up in the morning?
Shit, I gotta go work out now. Shouts out to Sonny's Boxing Gym. That's actually where we're at right now. And I wanted to do the interview here, and I asked him if we can do it here, and he also asked because I want to interrupt this real quick. I want to give a big shout out to these guys because they're doing what they're doing. This guy, when we were in this gym working out, he's like, "What do you think about me doing interviews?" I said, "Hell yeah! You love boxing, do it." These guys are doing really, really good, but I don't have a hoodie like that yet, so somebody better work on that, please. I'm down. I need a hoodie. So yeah, so that first thing I do when I work out, man, shouts out to you guys. Seriously, you guys are doing really, really well. But yeah, first thing I wake up is like, dude, I gotta go work out at Sonny's now. That's honestly.
And now that it's cold, it's harder.
Yeah, dude, it's like I don't break a sweat as much anymore. Coming here frozen, man.
For sure, man. The next question, I know you're gonna love this one because you're a big music head. What is a Ramblin Ralph music playlist like?
Oh, dude, it's all over the place. My friends hate me because, like, I listen to everything except, like, the Kill Your Family hard rock stuff, like the Metallica, like the crazy heavy metal. I can't get into that. So my biggest playlist will probably be, like, start off with a little Rick Ross or, like, Kevin Gates, and then it'll be, like, some SOS Band, and then Yanni, and then, like, War on Drugs. I listen to Yanni, dude. Like, that dude, you know why I listen to Yanni? Because you guys go check him out. He doesn't even know how to read music notes. He made his own symbols, and that's how he learned how to play the piano. So, like, yeah. So my playlist is everywhere, dude. Country, I got George Strait, cumbias, reggaeton is getting hot again. It's kind of dying off a little bit right now, but yeah, it's all in the mix. Some Manuel, oh yeah, some Manuel, Bad Bunny, everything, dude. It's like a whole, like a banana split. Like when you're eating it, and by the time it's done, it's like this shit everywhere. That's how my music playlist is, bro. Honestly, so yeah, it's a bag of just like the old clearance at Fry's when you just like looking through a dollar clearance, like damn, all kinds of shit in here. That's how my playlist is, bro. My friends don't like it, so yeah, it's a mess.
That's cool, man. It's so crazy that they even give out tickets sometimes. Like if the first people that guess this song will give you tickets.
Yeah, well, because like in my contract, I make a stipulation that I get tickets because it's important, man. Like I want to give back, and sometimes families can't afford to go. Like especially even Roberto makes it very affordable for families to go, but at the same time, if you have a family of 5, it's $200, and sometimes people may not be able to go. So yeah, I'd rather get tickets and less money than more money and not be able to help families. So that's why I give out. So yeah, sometimes I get stuck with like 10, 15 tickets because people can't go, and I'm like, what song is this? And I'll make it like kind of easy, but then someone will be like, dude, I don't know what the hell you're listening to. I'm like, hey, sorry, that's what I listen to, man.
Cool, man. The next one is what is one of, if not the most heartwarming fan experience you've had?
There was somebody that came up to me at the Mayweather-McGregor, and he was from England, and he says, hey, you don't know who I am. He says, but because of you, I started to ring announce back in the United Kingdom. I go, really? He says, yeah. He says, I saw you do. What was it, Benavides? No, the Shane Mosley fight. Dude, I can't believe I forgot about that. That's another one of my favorites, man. We have to backtrack a little bit because the Shane Mosley title fight that was in Glendale. And shouts out to Henry Ramirez, former trainer of Chris Arreola.
The Gila River ring.
Yeah, I was at Gila River, dude, and he was the one that told Shane, dude, use my friend Ralph. He's excellent. Like he'll work it out, bro. I had such an amazing time. That was my very first title fight. All my family and friends were there, and I've been friends with Shane and his fiancee Trista to this day because of that fight. So, yeah, that's another. How did I miss that one? That's what I'm saying. I'm getting old, man. I'm forgetting details, but yeah. So he's like, yeah, watch you do the Shane Mosley fight. We saw it in England, and because of you, I wanted to start announcing. And I'm like, damn, like, see, and that's why I was telling you about the fork in the road. Like, you can come and become this arrogant person and think that you know everything and think that, and sometimes people may misconstrue that of me because I I take a lot of pictures and I do a lot of stuff. But see, I have no marketing team. I have no agency. I have no one I can pay to do my social media. Like, yes, I put 100 posts a day sometimes, and people talk shit about me because of doing that, but I don't have anybody else to do that for me. So I have to make these videos. I have to keep reminding people that, yes, I'm here. I'm for the people. Like, I'm doing this, not just for me, but for the fans, for kids. So that is why it's important to me, man, that I do stuff like that. So.
For sure, man. I also seen, and I thought that was super awesome. I don't remember exactly where you were at. I think you were like in Cancun or something, and those guys at the restaurant.
Oh yeah, that was cool. So there's in Cozumel, there's a bar. It's like a Bob Marley themed bar. There's no electricity. We walk up. I had my TMT shirt on and my hat. This kid walks up to me. He says, "I know you," and I'm like, in Spanish. I'm like, "Yeah, I know you." No, I don't live here. I go, I live in the United States. He goes, "No, por YouTube. For YouTube." See, and he pulls out his phone and he goes, and it was my fight. It was David Benavidez' fight. He says, "I know you." He says, "Tú eres con el microphone." He said in English. That was so cute. I was like, "Yeah, microphone." So I guess he saw a fight on YouTube. He recognized it. He wanted me to leave the shirt, but my body wasn't ready to be walking around, Cozumel with no shirt. I'm like, no. So I promised him the next time I go back, I was going to take him a TMT shirt. So this place has a bunch of shirts that people leave and hats and whatever. So I gave the kid my hat and I took a picture with him. It's crazy, man. That's why, like, when I see Jimmy Lennon and Michael Buffer and now David Diamante, who's finally, after all these years, getting the chance to be the big guy, which congratulations to him because he's earned it. Man, like, these people go all over the world and they're noticed, man. And I think it was cool. So that was my first experience with that. And it was cool, very humbling. So because of that, you want to just keep on pushing.
For sure. Question number 4 is: I know you're a huge baseball fan, but who was your favorite baseball team before the D-backs were born?
It was the Los Angeles Dodgers, which I really hate to admit that now because people are going to see this, know that I ragged the Dodgers so much, and I'm so pissed off they won the World Series. I was a huge Dodger fan, and baseball is my number one sport. Baseball, I played baseball up until I was done with college. I tried to play the minor leagues, got hurt. That didn't work out. But, like, seriously, baseball is my number one. I love it. I can go watch anybody at any time, Little League, T-ball, high school, spring training. I go all the time. Darryl Strawberry was my favorite player. Even though he was with the Mets, I was a big Dodger fan. So when Darryl Strawberry went to the Dodgers, dude, I said, "We're going to win the World Series, man." And then, of course, he got busted like a month later, and he never panned out. But the Dodgers were, I still go to the Dodgers games every year. I take my kids. We go sit in the cheap seats. We get the all-you-can-eat stuff for $30, and we have a good time. The Dodgers were everything. Here in Phoenix, Dodgers were on TV, Dodgers were on the radio. That's all you knew. Fernando Valenzuela was my hero. He was like my man, dude, of the Dodgers. Like, that sideburns were hanging over his ears. I'm like, man, he's cool, man. I want to be like him. So, of course, we'd all go in the backyard and start pitching, like Fernando. And yeah. But when the D-backs came, dude, people give me shit. But that's my home team. Like, as soon as the D-backs played their first game, I let it go. And I have a lot of friends who give me shit about it because they're like, "No, you're a Dodger fan. How can you trade?" But I'm AZ, bro. It was very simple.
This makes me sad, bro. This is the part when I leave.
I'm sorry, Dodger fans. I'm glad you guys won the All-Star game half season World Series. That's great. You guys played 50 games and won a championship. That's great. No, you guys, the Dodgers are good. You're a Dodger fan?
No, hell no.
No. What was your team?
D-backs, for sure.
Okay, good. See,
the D-backs, that's the crazy part is that when the new D-backs team came, that's when I started to like baseball. I used to be probably somebody that wasn't even a star was my favorite player, Tony Womack.
Tony Womack, dude. But that's what reminds me of you so much is that Tony Womack was a catalyst, right? Like, he started the game off. He was leadoff guy. He's the one that got the engine rolling. You started coming in here, started working out with Sonny. You got the engine rolling. You didn't stop. I'm going to tell you, this guy would put me to shame in the workouts. I come in here and hit the bag for 8 or 9 rounds. This guy's doing this full circuit workouts, dropping weight, looking all crazy. I'm like, man, dude. I'm like, you're really getting after it. Now he has a home gym. Like, this dude is, when he starts something, he finishes it. That's what I love about you. And that's why, yeah, I sneak in here and do 6 rounds, and you're over there putting me to shame in the circuit workouts. But That's very explainable. Tony Womack, of course, Tony Womack. He starts things off, he gets everybody else going, and that's what you've done. Now we're sitting here doing box talk, baby.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Question number 5 is, what movie or movies have made you cry before?
Dog. Titanic, dude.
Yeah,
Titanic, yeah, Titanic. And Mac and Me, dude, back in the day. You're probably too young for that movie, but there was a movie called Mac and Me where the little alien, his ship flies off and his mom takes off on him, and he starts making this weird alien noise. And I started crying, dude. I started crying. And probably to this day, if I saw it again, I'd probably cry again. So we're not watching Mac and Me no more. Guys, don't tell nobody when you guys see this. It's Mac and Me and Titanic. Titanic is actually one of my favorite movies. And I hate to admit that. And you're the only person that I've actually said this to out loud in public. Because when I tell people, I'm like, don't tell nobody. But I love Titanic. I love the movie. And it made me cry. So there you go.
What about the sports movies like Radio and stuff like that?
No, because sports, like I've been around sports long enough to understand those stories. Like Major League is my favorite movie only because it's a baseball movie, and I know that there's some shitty teams that have gone through spring trainings like that with people that were supposed to be zeros and they end up being heroes. Southpaw is a favorite movie of mine. I love that movie, but it didn't make me cry. Mac and Me made
Definitely
me cry.
touching.
Titanic made me cry. I like Radio's. Rudy, remember Rudy? Did you ever watch Rudy?
Yeah.
Crazy people.
Question number 6 says, I know you're always up early trying to get to the gym. What's one of your favorite exercises and one that just makes you cringe? Like, oh, I have to do this.
The one that I hate, to be perfectly honest with you, it's the one where and shouts out to the Benavides family, because they originally were the ones that started getting my ass into the gym every day, and there was no excuses. You needed to get in there. There's a drill that we do in here where it's a full 3-minute round and you're just sliding around, and you have the strings up, and you're ducking around. And people don't understand, man. You see these guys doing shadow boxing and doing it for 8, 9, 10 rounds, and then they go to the mitts. I can't stand the mitts, dude. I can't stand the mitts because after 6 or 7 rounds, I want to throw up. Like I don't know how these guys do it for an hour, 2 hours. Floyd is sitting there hitting the mitts for 15, 20 minutes at a time, hitting the heavy back for 20 minutes at a time. The mitts are my worst. Like we do that, and then we do the mitts in here. Dude, after 7 rounds, I want to just throw up, dude. And that's real talk. And if you guys are laughing or talking shit, go try it for 4 rounds or 3 rounds, and then you won't be laughing because it's brutal, dude. What about you?
I hate burpees. I don't like burpees.
Oh, you hate burpees? Yeah, burpees are pretty
Burpees are like the frog jump burpees.
Yeah.
But they get you good.
So Lamb does all that stuff really good, man. She's amazing too. Shout out to
Sulem. I know you're gonna love this one. Hopefully you have a way of putting this briefly, because I'm sure you're gonna start breaking it down all crazy. But,
we're probably already over a lot of time for the interview. I'm sorry, guys.
What financial advice can you give to a young fighter that's finally starting to get
Oh man, okay. So I will. Yeah, that takes quite a bit of time, but I'll be really brief with it because I know that we only have a lot of time for this interview. I've been doing real estate since I was 18. The one thing that fighters do when they first get their first big check is they want to go buy the bling, right? They want to go buy the watches, the car, the whatever. Like, that's cool, but to be perfectly honest with you, what I've seen in real estate, I've seen people become multi-millionaires just by flipping houses or buying their starter home, gaining equity after 7 years, selling it, buying another home, refinancing, pulling equity out, go buying another home, and then having a multitude of homes and then selling them as a package. Like, real estate is the number one reason why there's so many millionaires and billionaires in this world. Real estate. 90% of all millionaires have real estate in their portfolio. It's what started them. Real estate. And I'm very proud of you because he took the leap and now he owns real estate. You must do it, dude. It is a must. Do not go live in an apartment and have your Bugatti and your bling. Dude, buy a house first. Even if who cares? You drive a Honda, who cares? You drive whatever. It doesn't matter, dude. Buy the house because all people who become millionaires have real estate in their portfolio. So that's about as clear cut and obvious as I can put it. Make sure you do that.
There you go. Question number 8 is, who's your all-time favorite Arizona athlete? Sure, that's hard to pick.
Can I break it down to sports? I'm gonna offend somebody right now, and I don't want to. There's different. I don't want to, dude, because I love everybody here. Like I thought, God, golly, can we go eras? Like, obviously, growing up, Michael Carbajal. And shout out to Michael Carbajal because that guy is doing his thing with the community in his gym and staying safe down there. Carbajal, of course, is one.
Man, that's crazy that now that you put it that way, that it's at least keep to a sport, it makes it really hard. Now I'm thinking too.
Yeah, because it's like, damn, dude, like, you know, if we're going to say boxing wise, like, we have two different eras. There's Carbajal, and now there's Benavidez and Junior and David, and then you have, like, you know, Martillo. You got even guys like Hurricane Hernandez, dude, were like, he's gone and fought a guy like Caleb Plant. Dude, Caleb Plant's knocking people out. Andrew Hernandez went the whole fight with Caleb Plant. And people forget about that. Like, dude, Hurricane was right there. He didn't win, but he was right there, and he didn't back down, dude. So it's tough, man. If you want to go eras, dude, yeah, Carbajal in the beginning put the Phoenix on the map as far as boxing is concerned. You know, David, which every athlete should want someone to come around and do better than them. Like Floyd really wants Tank to become the next Floyd, which hopefully he does. But with this case, I think David has a really good chance of becoming one of the best boxers that ever lived. I really do think that. So era-wise, Carbajal and Benavidez. Baseball-wise, dude, there's so many baseball players that come out of here. Like, for me, Steve Nash, dude. Steve Nash, dude. Like, here's the crazy thing about Steve Nash.
I'm stuck between Nash and Fitz.
Yeah, bro. And Fitzgerald, like, dude, Fitzgerald never caused no trouble. Played here, played through bad teams, never whined, never complained. Boxing fan, crazy about boxing. Like, how do you say, well, that's not the guy? But then Steve Nash, you go watch him play, unselfish. One of the greatest basketball players ever to see live. If you ever got to see him play live, dude, that dude was money.
Now everyone's doing the running gun.
That dude was money, dude. Like, his layups, the way he'd come in and, like, you know, had the ball out here and flick it up and passes and his shot. One time I got there early and I got to see the warm-ups, and the guy shot, like, in the corner, like, literally 53 pointers and never missed one of them, like, one after another after another. So, yeah, basketball, Nash, football, Fitzgerald, boxing, Carbajal, Benavidez. Yeah, man. Golf, I don't really follow golf that much, so I apologize.
Sure, man. Question number 9, we're almost done here. Question number 9 is, have you ever had a moment where you've been starstruck? When you met somebody?
Yeah, Rick Ross actually was the only really. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, well,
was that at a fight?
Yeah, I was at a fight weekend, man, and I liked his music, and it was like 10 years ago, and I walk up and he's right there, and I'm like, no, that's Rick Ross. Like, oh, that's Rick Ross. I'm fan club president, bro. Back up, that's Rick Ross, dude. And I got to meet him, and really, really cool guy. But as far as like boxing starstruck, it's really crazy, dude, because the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame was, for me, I got to do the red carpet for them. That was really cool because I got to meet Marquez, Juan Manuel Marquez, which I never got to meet before. He was really cool. Tommy Hearns, really cool guys. But most of the athletes, dude, and most of the boxers, they're like us, right? They want to just be around normal people. They get so many people going after them for, like, you know, interviews and pictures and autographs that when you meet them in the back, they're just like us and they're normal people, which is really, really cool. So, yeah, Rick Ross, man, sure. Starstruck me.
Question number 10 is, if a movie was ever made about you, who would play you?
Dang, I can't use Mario Lopez because, you know, we kind of have the same build. Shouts out to Slated, my Twitter friend. But good question, dude. I don't have no. I mean, shit. Probably the guy from the Honeymooners, dude. That old man from the Honeymooners. That's probably the best I can put. I don't really. That's crazy. That's funny that you say that. I never really thought about that. I mean, if Mario Lopez is playing Colonel Sanders in an upcoming movie, maybe we can put a bodysuit on him and get him a little bit bigger. But God, if I could just pick none that didn't look like me, that would be an actor that I would like. Probably Christopher Walken or Denzel, because those are my favorite actors, man.
Or you play it, man, whatever.
Yeah, make me look. Hey, Robert De Niro in The Irishman, they put that computer generative. Yeah, who would do that? I can look 20 years younger. I need that right now, as a matter of fact. Getting old.
Question 11 is, what is the worst job that you've ever had?
Probably my first job at Hollywood Video.
Dang, that sounds super throwback.
Bro, Hollywood Video's throwback. I'm old, dog. I'm 42. So when I was, it was cool because I was 15 and a half, and the guy's like, you know what, man, I'm going to let you work. It was in Southside. They had barely opened the Hollywood Video. and I had to wear it. And people, oh, dude, you don't understand. I had to wear, like, if you're ever in a quinceañera or like a wedding and you got to wear the cummerbund and the tie, it sucks, dude. Especially you're like at the dance part and the dinner, you just want to take all that stuff off, dude. Like, you don't want to have that on. I had to wear that every day. I had a long sleeve shirt, the beachy bow tie, the cummerbund. It was whack, dude. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting something out of this. I'm coming to work. So I would take the PlayStation home every night that they didn't rent it. And that's why I stayed so long. Because the PlayStation already came out and they let me take it home every night, but I had to bring it back the next day. So that was my worst job, dude. That was brutal. I had to wear dress shoes every day. Yeah, it was bad. Putting the games back, they didn't rewind the movies back then, so we had to rewind them and chart. It was, dude. Hollywood Video. They didn't make it, but shouts out to them.
Sure, man. And the final question is, when it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember about you the most?
That no matter where you come from, and listen to me, people, I'm going to tell you like this. No matter where you come from, no matter what color you are, no matter what background you are, no matter how old you are, if you want to do something, if you want to become somebody, go do it. Do not wait another year. Do not wait 5 years. Do not wait 10 years. Make the decision and do it. He did it. I did it. And you can do it. He told me he was going to start interviewing people. I said, go for it. He did it. He's doing it now. He's doing an awesome job. This team is awesome. I told myself that no matter what I was going to announce, I knew I was going to do it. I just didn't know how. And when the opportunity came, I seized it, and we're going, and we're not going to stop. Please remember, if you're 10, 20, 30, or even 40 years old, if you have a dream, go get it. Don't stop. And never, ever listen to people that doubt you. I have lost a lot of friends, dude. I lost a marriage because of this. I lost a lot of things. And there's, even though there's a lot of good times in the story, it's tough when, some people that aren't going to believe in you. There's a lot of people aren't going to believe in you. A lot of people are going to talk shit to you. They're going to say, you can't do it. You're going to be on TV. Jimmy Lennon? Oh, yeah, right, whatever. Well, here I am. They're probably talking, you can't do interviews. Dude, what are you doing? You're not like, no, look, here we are. So do not ever, ever, ever for 1 minute tell yourself that you can't do nothing. You don't listen to people. You listen to what's inside of you, and you keep on going, and you never take no for an answer. Period.
There you have it, man. Well, I appreciate that, man. And on camera, you inspired me. So for sure, I was like, man, I'm 29. What am I doing? But I heard your story, and I was like, just go for it.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. And then in 5 years, we're gonna get back to this. We're gonna replay this interview, or you're gonna be over there in Vegas as one of the main guys with your own big gigantic channel with 1 million viewers, followers, and more than that. We want more than 1 million, because 1 million gets you paid. So we want like 10 million. Follow this guy, spread the news. These guys are awesome, man. They deserve it, and they're real fans too.
Sure, man. Like we say in Spanish, y Dios quiere, man.
Dios quiere.
There you go, man. Well, before we let you go, do you have any last messages to your fans, supporters?
No, you just thank you for the support, and the people that
social media
that get on and look, but they don't like and whatever. It's okay. I see you guys too, man. That's okay. Like, honestly, you can't expect everybody to be happy with what you're doing. I understand that. You know that. I know that. But you fuel us, so just keep on going ahead and being there, and you fuel. I know that there's some people that don't want me to succeed, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to be happy with your goal or what you want to do. Some people may think you're arrogant, but look, you need to get up and you need to do it yourself. If you're mad at other people for doing what they're dreaming of and trying to accomplish their dreams, then maybe you need to find yourself a dream and go accomplish it too. So, shouts out to everybody, even the people I'm not getting along with right now. I still love you. Maybe we're having a little bumps in the road, but I still have love for you. I have love for everybody. And, hopefully the people watch this and they get inspired. And we have a bunch of little ring announcers running around everywhere. It's all good, man.
Any social media you want to give out?
Yeah, Ramblin Ralph. You know what? I just changed it, bro. I have I just changed it, man, because I wanted to make sure that it was found easier. My Instagram is I am Ramblin Ralph. So I am RAMBLIN. And my Twitter, which my Twitter game is whack, dude. I really need to get my Twitter game going. I really do. That is Ramblin Ralph MC. And if you just put Facebook Ramblin Ralph, I'm there. I'm everywhere. And if you subscribe to my Facebook, don't get upset. I do post a lot. Even on my Instagram, he'll tell you. It's quite obsessive, but it is what it is.
There you go, man. Well, thank you so much for giving us some time today. And thank you for everybody tuning in to another episode of Box Talk with Luis Madrid. God bless you. Thank you.
In my hoodie, man.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Box Talk with Luis Madrid. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know who you would like us to interview next. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you very much, and God bless.